Welcome back to Elizabeth Plants. I'm Elizabeth, and today we are doing part 2 of last week's plant care video where we did some repottings and such. And today we are going to do some other plant care stuff, including cat proofing and some bottom watering / organization stuff. So without further ado, here is part 2, but of course, go watch part 1. All right. I am going to do a task now that relates to what looks like a towel in a plant. You're right, it is a towel in a plant. So we are going to work on that project, and you're going to excuse the mess in my living room. We don't clean every single day because we're busy people over here. We clean on Fridays, and today is Wednesday, so the house is kind of a mess. We have cats, we have not the tidiest of people, and I have a plant chore to do out here, so I'm gonna film it. All right, so this is the situation. As y'all probably know, I have plants and I have cats, and my cats like to dig in my plants. Now, I've come up with many solutions in my time. This is one, but I actually really hate this one. I just haven't ever gotten around to doing anything about it. It's a tray upside down cut to fit the plant. It works good enough, but I hate it. Another method I've used is the wire cages. I made a video about those, but it's too much effort, and so I stopped making those. And honestly, Raja, this mean, he got smart enough to bend the wires back. So he didn't really care about the wires. But I've been putting a towel around this guy, and it's just not a long-term solution. So we are going to make a plastic cover. So over here, behind my partner's wire mess and my cat's toy pillow mess, we have this plant, and I created a plastic cover that has been pretty successful with little plant pins holding it down. Essentially, this is just one of those clear shower curtains that I punched a bunch of holes in. So if you watched my last chores video, I had a hole punch in a pile of plastic. That's what this is. So I'm going to make one of these for the plant with the towel in it. Okay, I hope this is a good angle, and I hope we're not too backlit. I've got my plastic right here, the rest of my pins, kitchen scissors, and my hole punch. And we're going to kind of wing it. Oh, actually, I do need to add soil to this plant. Okay, I'm gonna add soil first. Okay, now what we are going to do is cut an adequate size of plastic. I believe that one of its normal folded, a folded square, should be plenty to start with. So I actually always start with a square. I just find it to be easier that way. It's just a personal preference. But I start with a square. And then I fold that square up as small as I feel like. Grab my hole punch. I have it set to the thickest hole, the biggest hole. And I just go to town punching holes all over this thing. I punch holes in this so that the plastic being on top doesn't keep the moisture in too much and rot the plant. So I punch this is a ceramic pot. It's glazed on the outside, and it's glazed on the inside about 3-ish inches down, which means that the top is going to hold a lot of moisture pretty well. So I want to make sure there are a lot of holes. All right, so I finished punching the holes in this and actually lost one of the little sprigs on this guy. So I'm going to, this requires finger strength, and I just don't have finger strength. Okay, never mind, I'm not going to fix it. That's a task for me another day. Because for whatever reason, I really struggled with my finger strength poking holes in this today. It's always a struggle, but today was a particular struggle. So if I open it up, that's kind of what it looks like. Hopefully you can see that. But it's covered in holes. There are areas where it's not super, like the center where there was definitely a fold, there's not a ton of holes, but that's fine because I'm going to be cutting out some of the center anyways. What I am going to do is I'm going to cut straight like about 3/4 of the way down the center because that's kind of going to fit on the plant. And then I'm going to cut the holes bigger to fit around the plant, or I'll just fold it back. That's kind of the beauty of the plastic versus the wire. The plastic, well, yeah, it kind of holds in a lot more moisture and you have to be a little bit more intentional about your watering. It doesn't damage the plant if it doesn't fit perfectly over the plant. But I'm gonna bring you closer to the plant and we are going to fit this baby. All right, I know I am not in the screen, but now I'm going to cut this, and I really hope my kitchen scissors are strong enough. Don't want to cut too far, but I do want to cut far enough. Okay, no, I think that's perfect. So I'm actually going to pin it down right here so that it doesn't move, or at least so that it moves less. Okay, now I've kind of pinned the seam down the center, and I'm going to trim the plastic to fit inside the pot, or at least like up to the edge, and then I'm going to pin around the edge as well. All right, so here's the finalized product. I usually put way more pins in it, but I ran out of pins. So this will have to do. I also usually, I guess I need to trim up that end, but this is kind of the final product. That's what it looks like. First comment will probably, well, maybe not the first, but one of the comments is probably going to be, how do you water this plant with all of the plastic on top? Honestly, I don't make things harder than they need to be for myself. I know it won't get done if I make it harder. So ideally I would bottom water it. That would be like the ideal option so that the water comes from the bottom, not the top, to avoid rotting near the top. However, I'm not going to bottom water this plant every time. It's a giant plant, and I'm just not going to every time. Now, I will try to when I'm able, but I'm just going to pour water over the top like I would water it if there was no plastic there. There's holes all over it, and I've found with other plants that I've done this with that it gets through the holes and it gets down into the soil just fine. So I'm not going to make it harder than it is. And this is a bird of paradise, so honestly, I couldn't kill it if I tried. I mean, honestly, it survived so much, so I'm not too worried about it. Now, another question I'm going to probably get, or at least something that people are going to be thinking, is like, plastic isn't a earth-friendly option, and I should probably do earth-friendly options if I like plants. And yes, absolutely I should, but nothing has worked for me so far. So reusing plastic is just kind of gonna be my option. Like this like tray thing, it cracked on its own, so now it's useless as a tray. Use it as that. The plastic is like old shower curtain, so like from a garage sale. So it's gonna get tossed anyways. I'm just going to make it useful. Cardboard works sometimes, but my cats really love cardboard, so they tend to see it as a toy instead of an actual like plant cover. And then, like I said, the metal wire, that was just difficult for me to store. It was difficult for me to maneuver with. I don't really have a ton of finger strength. So I required help often, and it's the big plants that need the help for the cats, not the small ones. So without help, the big ones were a bit of a task for me. So if that works for you, that's great. But I just don't have the finger strength anymore. So that's not an option for me either, which leaves me with, that's their cat bed. He's eating his cat bed. That's what I'm telling you about cardboard. It's a toy, they eat it. They don't leave it be. Yeah, that's kind of my solution. Let me know if you have ideas for alternates that are more earth friendly, but for now I've got a pile of plastic, I might as well use it. Found some more pins, so I'm going to put these pins in the plant now. And I put away all my stuff, so I'm doing this one-handed. I'm putting it kind of in places where it's already trying to bubble on its own, because those are places that the cat's going to grab on and pull successfully. One more. Yeah. Beautiful. All right, so I did a couple of planty chores in here, kind of in brief moments between sessions yesterday, so I am going to now show you what I did. Okay, so one thing I did was water all of my Leca plants, but I also trimmed up my melanochrysum. This leaf was the only leaf up at the top, and it's not cute. There was one unfurling, but it's been unfurling for about a month. So I'm thinking there's something to be explored with this plant, but for now I trimmed it up to hopefully save that one that was up at the top. However, I put this leaf in water, and kind of am hoping that something grows from this plant. I mean, this stalk right here came from here when I cut it maybe a year ago. And just now, I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up, but just now it's growing that little bit right there. So I'm hoping that this plant does it again. It'll be, this is its third cut. So I know it'll survive, but I want it to be more full. Like this entire section in the center was no leaves. So I want it to be more full. I know he's been riddled a little bit with pests, so I'm hoping that that's, yeah, something I'm working on in a different video, so we won't talk about it here. Now then, if we move over to this guy, we love him. He probably needs a water, but we love him. He sprouted out this new leaf, and he was kind of going absolutely bonkers. I wish I would have taken a picture before I trimmed him up, because he was like doing swirly swirls over here, and it was quite wild, and I want him to go up this pole. So I trimmed back the swirly swirls, and currently I just have all of the trimmings set in my prop box. They're not going to stay in there. I'm just waiting for moss to come in, so they're staying in there for the moment, and I will show you that here in a sec. All right, so this is my prop box. I do plan on doing a video on my prop box because it's ready to be kind of worked through, but I just set all of my cuttings, including all of the wet sticks in there, and they will get their own container shortly. All right, so the biggest thing I did was reorganize a lot of my Leca plants. So as you can see, this one right here, turn a light on, see if maybe that makes it easier to see, but I ordered a bunch of these containers. I showed it to you in my cleanup video, but I ordered a bunch of these boxes, and they were meant to be prop boxes. However, I'm impatient and my moss is taking forever to arrive. So I decided to make these watering boxes and use fewer of these trays in the hopes to fit plants better on shelves. So this is one of those boxes. I put these two guys in here. They're kind of getting long, so I'm thinking that they need more of something. Maybe light, maybe a moss pole to go up. But yeah, then I filled it up with water, and it's already collected like a, bunch of dust at the bottom, which I find very interesting, and I will be looking into that. But there is one of them. However, I put a bunch of these down here. They weren't down here before. Put them in one of these trays. It's cracked, so I can't really fill it up all the way, so that's a short-term solution. But most of the boxes are in here. So this is the current situation. I've got part of a self-watering that I'm not currently using right here, holding a couple. This guy needs to come out. This is like my hospital, so these are all my not good plants, so just bear that in mind while you look in here. A lot of them are stumps, but we've got a couple of soil, and then a couple more soil up on the next shelf, but the rest is all Leca, filled about an inch with water that has food in it. Got this right here, if you know, you know. If not, watch more of my videos. And then we've got these two little guys. These two little guys will go in here once these two big guys are done soaking up the water, because they're not really soaking it up. Up here we've got some more hospital plants, of course, in various bins, soaking up water or not, depending on if they're soil or not. But yeah, the ones that are soil plants, I'll probably take out of the bins for propagation, but the Leca ones I think I'm going to keep in there. All right, thank you so much for watching this 2-part plant care video series, whatever you want to call it. I really appreciate it. Give it a thumbs up if this is the kind of content you want to be seeing, so that I know to make more, or if you don't like it, to avoid it altogether. Just let me know. You can also leave a comment letting me know if you enjoy this content and what was your favorite part. Do you like it being in 2 parts? Would you have preferred a longer video? Let me know. Like this video if you like, and subscribe to see more houseplant content. I will see you next time. Of course, I paused the video immediately as he tried to get into the plant. My dude. Hey, boys. Can you not? Hey, can you not? And of course, while I was filming, the cats did this.